who have not yet been sworn into office have any authority over you?
Evidently, they thought it did because they had 2 sitting county council members.
I'm asking, what did you think?
According to the county attorney, they did not have any, but they were releasing those to the news media. And that indicated to me that if I didn't do what they wanted me to do, that was just another opportunity for them to do what they wanted to beginning of the year.
And you did have an opportunity to speak with the county attorney about these so-called directives? Is that fair?
The county council talked to the county attorney.
Okay, and were you privy to that conversation?
Just privy to what was decided upon. I believe the county attorney actually, after the instruction of the county council, wrote them I think, or it was brought up in the council meeting.
Would it be fair to say that in the end you concluded that these directives had no authority over you?
Maybe no, at that point in time, no legal authority, but it would have, darn right, it would have had some type of authority over me in January once they took office.
And then the last bucket of...
Because it related to what Mr. Allen said about me, what he said they were going to do to me.
What did Mr. Allen say?
They were going to give me a directive that they knew that I couldn't fulfill, and they're going to fire me.
Do you know what directive that might be?
No.
How did you come to learn that Mr. Allen said that?
Brooks Brown said he said that at his presence upon, I believe, one of the other incoming county councilmen.
And is that was that part of the meetings you're talking about that happened at Bob Walter's office, or was that separate?
I was at a Bob Walter campaign, not a campaign, but the party, celebratory party for winning the election.
Primary you're talking about?
Yes. Or primary is the election.
The last bucket, I think, that we haven't mentioned is just the, well, you mentioned it, but we haven't talked about it further, is the meetings that happened at Bob Walter's office. I know you were concerned, apparently, that there were meetings happening at Bob Walter's office, at which, what happened? What was the concern of the meetings to you?
Well, I knew they were meeting.
Okay.
I could sit in my office and watch them go with fun.
Who was meeting, how many times, and what was the concern to you about those meetings?
I can't recall the number of times, but I know it was very often. I did see Eddie Moore attending those meetings. I saw Cindy Wilson attend those meetings. I saw Tommy Dunn attend those meetings. I saw Tom Allen go in his office, attend those meetings. I saw an attorney in town named Kurt Gibson go in and attend those meetings.
And I'm not going to get to stay with this too long, but are you saying that you saw them attend the meetings? Are you saying you physically saw them all go in at the same basic time?
Yes.
Bob Walter's office? Okay. And did you hear about these meetings somewhere else in terms of what happened within those meetings?
After I left the county, I learned they were, in fact, conspiring to, they were developing whatever resolutions and plans for the first meeting in January.
Okay, so before you left the county, before November 2008, did you have any idea what the meetings involved?
I heard that there was just discussion about the change in administration, but I didn't have the specifics of it at the time. I also saw Rusty Burns attend one of those meetings too.
Would it be fair to say that between June of 2008 and November 2008, you did not have the specifics of what was going on in those meetings?
I did not.
You heard, if I got you right, you heard that there was discussion of changing administrations that was occurring in those meetings. Is that fair?
Which later on I found to be true.
And again, I'm trying to just narrow down to what did you know at the time? And so at the time, you heard that there was discussion of changing administration. Is that fair?
Yes.
And how did you hear that? From what source?
You see, in the community, I believe they would leave there and go start to talk to constituency, and I would hear about it through people I would see on the street. That's my hearsay, I guess.
Do you have any understanding as to whether or not there's anything legally wrong with a meeting like the one you just described, where 2 sitting council members might be meeting with some number of elected council members?
I believe that it is. I think if they're writing ordinances, writing resolutions, developing agendas for their first meeting, I think that's an issue. That's a problem. It's a legal problem.
And your concern was, and tell me if I'm wrong, your concern was that some movement was afoot amongst the two sitting council members, Cindy Wilson and Bob Walker, and some of the newly elected council members, maybe all of them, that they were going to do something to you, whether it's suspension or termination, on or after January 1st, 2009. Is that fair?
Without cause.
But it was on or after January 1st, 2009, correct?
Yes.
And so I'm trying to figure out, were you concerned about meetings that were happening between, say, June of 2008 and August of 2008?
Listen to me. Tom Allen said to a citizen that they were going to issue a directive that I could not comply with at some point in time after the election.
Right.
Those are the types of things that they were talking about. Then they have this meeting. They present something that I believed, and my attorney expressed in writing that there was going to be some type of an anticipatory breach.
And some of this stuff happened. And I know you said there's an August 5th, 2008 meeting, that's pretty clear, right? I mean,
Prior to the election,
I know
you had that rhetoric, and then after the election, you've got them getting together to start meeting, talking about what they're going to do, and then Walter presents this motion, this resolution to not give me the ability to even have a public hearing.
Right, and so, then what I'm understanding now, it sounds like it's clear, this is clear to me. You thought meetings were occurring with Bob Walter's office between the time of the primary and the August 5th, 2008.
I thought meetings were going to have proof of it too.
Right, you saw some people in his office.
And there was a lot of talk, a chat about it.
And then the August 5th, 2008 meeting occurs, that gives you further concern, right? And then leading up till, well, we know September 25th, 2008 is when your lawyer sent the first letter.
And in the meantime, all these directives were coming on county stationary, from these newly elected county council members instructing me to freeze all salaries, not to hire any new employees, to stop all bond issues, stop spending any money. It just went on and on and on.
In response to the activity that you just described that caused you concern that you might be terminated in January 2009, what did you do? Yeah, at one point, and just to help you out, at one point you went to see a lawyer,
I was
right?
going to say that, yeah.
And I'm wondering if you did anything else before you decided to go to a lawyer.
I went to see, I looked for a lawyer, I found him, thought I could be good.
And that was Rob Haas.
Yes.
And I'll get to him in a minute. Would you agree with me, Mr. Preston, that after the primary occurred, you sought information from the South Carolina retirement system about purchasing retirement service credits?
That's right.
Why did you do that?
Keeping my options open, trying to figure out what I could do if they did terminate me.
And did you get some information from the South Carolina retirement system about purchasing retirement
I
service?
believe I did, yeah.
Pretty
I think they explained it to me.
Would you agree that it was pretty expensive for someone like you with your amount of earned service credits to purchase enough service credits to then be able to retire immediately?
At that particular time, the question to them was, I had already had service credits in North Carolina working with the city of Charlotte. I was trying to determine what that amount that I could purchase would cost. That's what that conversation consisted of, I believe.
Do you recall asking the South Carolina retirement system how much it would cost to purchase 5 years of service credit that was unrelated to any prior?
At some point in time, I asked that question. Yes, I don't remember when that happened, but I did.
And that request for information about what I would call otherwise unearned service credit would tie into a desire on your part to retire immediately versus having to wait until you're 60. Would that be fair?
I believe, I don't exactly recall when I asked them that question, but I had to find out what that number was, and I did ask them.
Who is the Anderson County Taxpayers Association, if you know?
I don't, you tell me, I don't know who they are. I don't know if they're organized or not.
I mean, are you aware of an organization by that name?
I believe there was, yeah, there was. I think Dan Harwell was claiming to be the chairman of it.
Was that an organization that was generally speaking supportive of you as the county administrator?
No.
Was it opposed to you as county administrator?
Yes.
What was that lawsuit? Do you remember this, the nature of it?
I believe it had to do with, you got a radio interview, WRIX, and there was this fellow that called and accused or said that, or implied, said that I had I think it was at the time, Allied Waste Management, or I can't remember the name of the company at the time, they changed it and so on, had purchased my BMW for me. I said,
Who said that?
Robert Stansel.
So a gentleman by the name of Robert Stansel made some statement over the air that Allied Waste might have purchased a car.
Robert Stansel accused me, he said that happened, that's what it was fact, that's a good fact, I believe.
And so, and I just want to, and this is a good way to tackle this, I suppose. I want to go through what litigation you have been involved with, either personally or as county administrator.
I may not be able to remember all of it.
And that's fine. Just give me the best you can.
All right.
All litigation you've been involved with, either personally or as county administrator for Anderson County, that also involves Ms. Wilson. Let me start with, before I lose this chain of thought.
All right.
This lawsuit you're talking about that involved Mr. Stansel in a radio interview that he gave?
Yes, no, that I gave. I was answering questions over there.
Okay. And when was that interview?
Early 2000s.
Sometime in the early
I
2000s?
believe so, yeah.
And it would be fair to say the radio interview involved a landfill that was put in Anderson County?
No, this is, the radio interview involved really answering questions about anything.
Okay. And one of the questions that came up related to a landfill in Anderson County?
It wasn't a question, it was just somebody called in and made it so.
Oh, now I'm slow. Let's see this. Now, so Mr. Stanson, was he the interviewer or was he the caller? He was the
Caller. George Duckworth, former solicitor, was the interviewer.
So you're on a radio, essentially like a talk show, almost, like talk radio.
Yes.
And people can call in with questions for, in this case, I guess, they want to have questions for the county administrator.
Yes.
So what happened during this radio show was Robert Stansel, who apparently was a citizen or something of Anderson County, calls in and makes this statement about you.
Yes.
And that resulted in a lawsuit. Is that fair?
It's fair.
And what was the lawsuit entitled? Joey Preston personally versus
I believe it was a slander suit.
against Stansel?
What's up? Yes.
Did it involve Ms. Wilson?
It did later on.
Okay, how did it come involve Ms. Wilson?
Deposition.
What happened? Like, did you sue Ms. Wilson and she become a party to it?
Party to it.
And how was that? Like, what did you claim? I assume you made a claim against Ms. Wilson in that same lawsuit?
Yes.
What was the claim?
Actually, the next person that was named was Steve Loveless, I believe.
Okay.
And then, through the depositions, I believe that we learned that they had been meeting with Miss Wilson, and they got their information from Miss Wilson.
And were those the three defendants in the end, Robert Stansel, Steve Loveless, and Cindy Wilson?
Yes.
And was it a defamation case?
Yes, I believe it
As
was.
best you know, I know you're not a lawyer.
Yes.
And would it be fair to say that
Not
the are you studying to be a lawyer? Do you want to be a lawyer?
No, I did not.
That would be the last question. So my understanding then is the basic claim, tell me if I'm wrong, but the basic claim was a claim of defamation by you against these three defendants
Yes.
relating to a statement made that Allied Waste or someone associated with this landfill had purchased you a car.
Yes.
How did that lawsuit resolve?
Legal, sealed. Can I talk about it?
Well, no, all I care about is did it settle or did it go to trial?
It's settled.
And is it a confidential settlement?
I think anymore.
If it's not, then how did it resolve? Did you get paid money?
I did.
How much?
I don't remember.
I mean, was it sounds like it couldn't have, I'm just speculating, but it sounds like it couldn't have been a lot, but I don't even remember.
I'm thinking around $10,000 or something. I don't follow the details.
Something in that ballpark?
Yeah, that's it.
You recall who had to pay you?
All three.
You recall whether or not insurance proceeds were used to pay you?
I believe so.
Do you recall, now I want to talk about any other litigation that you recall. Now, this may be a long list, but, and maybe the best way to do this would be to start at the earliest in time and then come forth.
We're going to break at this time for our lunch.